weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Weird Science Comics YouTube channel, where I get to hit my sound effect because we have some breaking news. The New Golden Age adds 3 new series. If you don't know what the New Golden Age is, those are the books that Geoff Johns is doing. They ended up starting with the New Golden Age #1, but they have continued in Stargirl, The Lost Children, and also the Justice Society of America books. So we're going to add some books to this, and even during this, Geoff Johns said that there will even be more books that end up coming out based around this whole deal. Now, this is still under the whole Dawn of DC banner, but it's the side stuff with Geoff Johns and some of his pals, it looks like. Here is the story ahead of Stargirl, The Lost Children's last issue on May 9th, which will be coming out next week as I'm recording this. DC is revealing 3 brand new titles that will be under the New Golden Age banner, spearheaded by superstar writer Geoff Johns. All-star creative teams will be bringing the Golden Age characters Alan Scott, Jay Garrick, and Wesley Dodds to life in 3 6-issue miniseries. Now, everybody can decide on their own if these are quite all-star creative teams, but DC is pumping this up, and this is directly from their PR release, so it makes sense. But we have Alan Scott, the Green Lantern, by Tim Sheridan and Cian Tormey. Jay Garrick, The Flash, by Jeremy Adams and Diego Orlategui. And Wesley Dodds, The Sandman, by Rob Venditti and Riley Rossmo. And I'm glad to see that Robert Venditti's gone casual with the Rob, but I like to call him Diddy. Oh, that's what I say. Also, a part of the Dawn of DC year-long storytelling initiative, all 3 first issues will be available at local comic shops in October. It's long past time that the heroes of the Justice Society had their own titles again, said Geoff Johns. At the same time, they had to be special, important, and emotional stories, each one exploring characters, revealing secrets, and introducing new heroes and villains to the DC universe. So he's pumped up about it. He says that we need these books. It's been way too long. And actually, we'll end up having a little stat in the first Alan Scott deal that actually shocks me. Alan Scott, The Green Lantern, by Tim Sheridan and Cian Tormey, will be Alan Scott's first solo title since 1949. That's a long time, I would say, right? Now, I know that a lot of people will, kind of go Tim Sheridan and think immediately at Teen Titans Academy. That book was a mess. I do agree with that. But Tim Sheridan was involved in the Flashpoint Beyond story with Geoff Johns and Jeremy Adams. So there is hope, and the hope will be that Geoff Johns is showing Tim Sheridan a bit more of the ropes. He's new to comics. Maybe he'll be able to improve a bit. And I think that he probably knows that if he doesn't, and this isn't good, he's kind of done. I mean, you can't have too many bombs in a row. So I think that this is the make or break deal for him, and hopefully he can step up and give us something good. Though I still think that it's going to be an uphill battle for people to get behind something because of how bad that Teen Titans Academy book was. I'm not even going to go into that Shazam mini because that was bad as well. But this is, again, make or break. So I'm kind of excited about that. I like to see how somebody kind of does that under pressure and realizing that if they don't write a good story here, they may be done. So I'm going to keep my expectations low, but I'm still going to check it out. And I like Cian Tormey's art, so I'm into that. But here is what you end up getting for, the description. Through a twist in the timeline, Alan Scott, the Green Lantern, revisits and recontextualizes the origins of the first Green Lantern through the lens of our modern understanding of the man. I know that kind of, if people are trying to unravel what that is, I'm sure people will get triggered, but just settle down. The story, which begins in the 1930s, is about an old flame, the kind that burns eternal, kind of like when you ended up having the Bangles singing Eternal Flame. I think that's what it's talking about, right? The Bangles, maybe? And the sometimes head-on single-track collision of our personal and professional lives. This is Alan's coming of age, in which he must embrace the man he is to become the hero he's meant to be. In the end, he'll have gained a greater understanding of himself and his gifts as he unlocks a new, previously unknown ability that can make him the most powerful Green Lantern in existence. And we'll have to wait to see what that is. But next up, Jeremy Adams and Diego Orletegui are teaming up for Jay Garrick, The Flash. It's hard being a parent. I do know that, especially when your kid is a speedster. Oh, I thought it was going to say when you have 5 kids, because tell me, that ain't no walk in the park either. Jay Garrick has been reunited with his long-lost daughter, Judy, but figuring out how to connect with her is proving to be difficult because, you know, those kids nowadays, they'll need to work to find common ground when a mission they started in Jay's early days as the Flash comes roaring to today. But will the Flash and the Boom be able to thwart a plan that's been in the works for decades? I don't know. I like the cars that go boom myself, but I don't mind the speedsters that go boom either. But we'll go to the next deal. And actually, I'll tell you, Jeremy Adams, this is a good way for people to support him. Again, on a Flash book. It's a family-based Flash book, so we know that's right in his wheelhouse. And this time, I beg you, please buy Jeremy Adams' book, because that's how we keep getting these books from him, is if people do support him. And I wish that people would have supported his regular Flash run with Wally a little more, and maybe we would have continued on with that. But last but not least, Wesley Dodd's The Sandman by Rob Venditti, with art by Riley Rossmo. And yeah, I'm not going to hit the Rob Venditti soundbite here because I want to talk a tiny bit about Riley Rossmo. I'm not a fan. He has his fans. That's fine. I don't like the style at all. I get confused looking at the page, but seeing kind of the PR art that we're getting here, that initial art deal, it may fit the book, actually. And I think that at points, you do better with Riley Rossmo, obviously, if his art does fit the book, and maybe that'll be the case here. Here is what they say, that the Wesley Dodd's The Sandman shows the titular character as a pacifist. I can't help laugh when I say titular. He has given up on the hope of a peaceful world, but he hasn't stopped believing that people can be better to each other if they're only given the right tools. Now, I'll tell you, the right tools to have people kind of be better to each other don't include Twitter or Reddit. I just want to let everybody know that. Hopefully, Wesley Dodds knows the idea. Social media, in fact, out the window. Don't give them social media, Wesley Dodds. Please, no. Possessing a scientist optimism and romanticism, not usually the two things that I usually think about with scientists. He is convinced that humanity can invent cures for its own ills. Again, not Twitter or Reddit. Having learned about the battlefield horrors of World War I from his father, he sought to create a sleep gas that would allow for humane warfare. Oh, yeah, we're going to have dream warriors? Is that what we're doing? During his research, he recorded all of his attempts in his science journal, even those with horribly deadly consequences. Now, writing those down in a journal is going to end up with that journal getting into the wrong hands. I know that's happening. Swearing to never show them to the world. Now his journal's been stolen. See, it happens all the time. You don't write this. This happened in the Saladin Ahmed Miles Morales book. He's doing it. Dear journal, I'm Spider-Man. Please don't. Don't do that. You don't need to do that. All it's going to do is get stolen, and people are going to know your secrets. Swearing to never show them to the world. Now his journal has been stolen. He must find the culprit and stop them before his deadly misinventions fall into the arsenals of the belligerent nations, threaten to pull the United States into the next world war. Does not sound like a feel-good book. Though, I hope that it is a gal who stole them called Misinventions. That would be the best, wouldn't it? Again, of the 3 books, this Wesley Dodds of Sandman might not really be in my wheelhouse, and nothing in that solicit really got me that excited, but I'll say we'll be talking about it, reviewing it, covering it on the podcast, and probably here on YouTube. So there you go. But overall, kind of a cool deal. And I know that there are some Sandman fans out there, Wesley Dodds, you know, the Wesley Dodds League. They're always tweeting and stuff. But yeah, everybody will get, you know, some books. They're different books. And if you do like these characters, it's pretty cool to get an option there. I hope that we're not going to expand these books with these little pocket things like the Golden Age or say the Mark Waid's World's Finest to a point where people get really confused. What is really Dawn of DC? What isn't? All that stuff. That's my biggest fear. But more books and things like this, I think can only help and get people excited. And really, it also gives you that whole play of, all right, we're having some fun now. There's some really good books coming out. This Dawn of DC, I think, is hitting better than I even hoped it would. You know, the sporadic releases kind of get me. And then we end up having that roadblock of the Night Terrors with a K in July and August, the spookiest months of the year, to then go back to the books. And I hope people don't jump off, but maybe it'll be that they don't get involved with Night Terrors, but then when these books hit in September and October, because there's a bunch hitting then, that people will be excited and get on board, because all three of these first issues, again, will be available in October. So I hope that people get excited. That helps everybody. I love DC Comics, so I want them to continue. I just want them to be better. And I'm kind of seeing little, smidgens of that happening. A lot of times they can't get out of their own damn way, but that's another video that I'm sure there's a million of those out there right now. But overall, I'm looking forward to things like this, these books. I'll definitely be checking out the Jeremy Adams, Jay Garrick, the Flash book. I'll be checking out them all, but I'm looking forward to that as well. But just as an aside before I go, I think everybody will be pleased with Jeremy Adams, the Green Lantern, that's coming out next week as well. So everybody check that out. It's really good. I have read it, and I'll give you the thumbs up already. But yeah, that is it. That is the breaking news. I'm going to hit it one more time just to get it. And I hope everybody enjoyed listening, and maybe you're excited about these books. And if you are, let me know and even if you aren't, let me know what you think of this announcement in the comments below, and subscribe, like, enable, all that stuff that they say at the end of these videos. But thanks, everybody, and I'll talk to you all later.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.